Good morning. We are in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and this is X-Plane 12.4.0, public beta number 1. So, had the opportunity to be testing previous versions of 12.4.0 for a little bit now, and couldn't kind of wait until I could actually stream this. So now that it's a public beta, I'm allowed to stream it. So as a VR user, I thought I'd kind of go over some of the added features that this version brings. So one thing, I don't know where I put him. The tablet here now has a command where you can basically hide it. So I normally just grab it and throw it behind the seat. I don't know where I put it, but now there's a command where you can do that. So that's kind of cool. Another kind of really important thing is if I go over here. So if I click on this guy, and the background is different too. It looks pretty nice. So if I click on this, and we're on graphics, you can see that we have default settings and VR specific settings. When you first start, you'll be in this hangar, and you'll look and you'll see the default settings are highlighted. That's just kind of the way it works. If you go into the cockpit and come back, you'll see that the VR specific settings, if you have this check mark checked. If you have this checked, then when you come back in, that's going to be highlighted. So the VR specific settings are independent of the default settings. So it allows you to have, you can kind of tone down your, because VR is more demanding, you can kind of tone down your settings to kind of keep good good frame times and FPS. So one thing that I kind of stumbled into is this thing here. I had normally had this enabled, so I'm gonna re-enable it. And because I'm on, if I actually go over here, you can see it's enabled in the default settings, but on the VR specific, I have it disabled. So if I enable it, go back in the cockpit, resume flight. So you should be able to see, if I'm looking over here to my right, you won't see it. But as I turn my head, right there, there's a black bar that just showed up. Now, if I turn my head like this, you can see that black bar goes up in the air. As I turn my head to the left, it comes back. Crazy thing is if I bring my controller, it kind of, and you can see the black bar basically covers up part of the controller. So this is a bug. So, I am not gonna. So let me get back over here. Here. And when I go back, resume flight, it's gone. So that's Sydney's aware of it, and one of his jobs is to kind of get that fixed. Trying to think what else in VR. Oh, just in general, the performance. They basically hello. The performance in 12.4.0 from a VR user's perspective, this is pretty astounding. How are you doing this morning? I'm doing awesome. You got it right. 7 megahertz loop. Interesting. So if you kind of look at my my frame times, they're really good. I mean, they're really, really good. Understand, I'm running a big screen beyond 2E, and 3560 by 3560 is what I'm rendering to X-Plane. The native resolution of this headset is 2560 by 2560. So basically, on each side of per eye, I'm 1,000 more than what native is, and that's what fpsVR shows me. It's like, this is pretty slick. So, and the other thing is that when I'm streaming or recording, when I use OBS Studio, it tends to it takes a little bit away from the GPU, but I don't see that at all. so that's pretty cool. So that makes it much more enjoyable. The only thing that, or there's a couple of things that are kind of remaining. I use a big screen beyond 2E. So it is the big screen beyond 2 with this is the eye tracking version. X-Plane does not support like foveated, dynamic foveated rendering. I think that will come. The use of eye tracking will become part of X-Plane. I don't know when. I just know that is a future plan. So that's why I picked an eye tracking version. It was $200 more. So it was kind of like I didn't seem like I was that big a deal. I mean, I'm buying a headset that was about $1,300, and if I bought it without eye tracking, it was $200 less. It was like, oh, wait a minute, it's gonna have built-in eye tracking, and they in big screen is going to yes, that's native. That's Tobi Eye Tracker is now native in 12.40, and so for people that have that and want to use that technique, great. I started before I got into VR. I had a track IR, and I used that for many years. And part of the reason I used it is because I have a friend that lives in the Czech Republic, and he basically wrote a plugin that basically supported that in Linux. And at the time, I was using Linux, and so the fact that so the plugin he wrote was called Linux Track, and I used that until native VR come out for X-Plane, and I how did that work? So native VR come out for X-Plane. I think coming this Christmas will be 6 years ago. And at the time, and I still am, I'm the author of X80 panels. So I had all these SayTech panels that I was using, and I kind of went, if I get hooked by VR, these are probably going to be useless to me. And so about 6 years ago, native VR was brought to X-Plane on Christmas Day. And I kind of listened to the feedback. About 2 days later, I went, I think I'm going to have to buy me a VR headset. So I bought one, and it arrived on January 9th. My birthday is January 9th, and a week after my birthday, a week later, I was doing a flight out of Erie. That's where I live, KERI. And I was using a reality expansion pack airplane. I didn't let it warm up. I just wanted to fly because I was having so much fun in VR. So I went ahead, I'm about 1,000 feet above the ground, heard the engine kind of cough, and then it died. And I went, oh, okay, so I have real world flight training. So it's kind of like, okay, if a real airplane, I'd fly straight ahead, find a place to land. I'm in a simulator. What can we do? So basically, I'm 1,000 feet above the ground. I'm not that far from the runway, from the airport. Did a 180, got the runway back underneath me, and did a landing, fairly good landing. And at that point forward, I never flew in 2D again. I only flew in VR, unless I was doing testing where 2D was the appropriate thing. But I've been in VR ever since. So I've went through a lot of headsets and always chasing the next higher res headset, and been happy. I had a big screen beyond 1, and I heard about the big screen beyond 2, and I went, yeah, that seems like that's an improvement. So that's what I got. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So I want to I'm going to jump right back. So let me go back here, show this. So now in if you're using VR, we have VR specific settings on our graphics settings. So that allows it allows you to kind of better tune. VR is more demanding, and it allows you to kind of make it perform, kind of reduce the settings a little bit, and so that when you're in like 2D mode, you can bring the settings up, and because, like, trying to remember where I'm at right now. Okay, so when I was in 2D before I clicked on it to say go into VR, I'm trying to remember where I was at. We'll say I had to be in between 130 and 140 frames per second in 2D. On the desktop, let me see if I can get, let's go see if I can do this. So I'm going to, okay. So you see how I run this in a Windows mode. The reason I do is I see people in VR, they're running this full screen. It's like you're not looking at it. So why are you doing that? So I run this as small as I can get it. And in the graphics, I can go back to the graphics and show this. So if you look in graphics, where is it? Oh, down here. You can see I run it as a Windows simulator, and I run it as small as I can because I don't want to waste any GPU or CPU resources rendering a full screen window when I'm not going to be looking at it. So that's kind of how I've run VR for a very long time now. So it kind of just gives me a little bit of extra performance. Trying to think what else. So, okay. So one other thing. So I'm running a flightsim.com CLS60 and flightsim.com CLS370 rudder pedals. So I have force feedback rudder pedals. So how I use VR. All of my cockpit interaction, in other words, flipping switches, turning knobs, all of that I do either with my VR controllers or with voice commands. I have plane command, so I can do some of that stuff with voice commands. And so then I have a force feedback Yoke and a force feedback rudder pedals. I don't have any other hardware. So my footprint in the house is kind of small, where it's just these, the two Yoke and rudder pedals, and that's it for hardware, and my VR headset and my VR controllers. So the footprint in the house is pretty small. So, so all of the, oh yeah, they're not cheap. What did I pay for these things? I think I paid $1,800 for them. They are not cheap, but they're a lot of fun. I mean, I have 108 hours in a real 170. In a real 172. I'm a former student pilot. I never made it to my to get my ticket, but I was probably five hours away from getting my ticket, and 1,800, 1800. My yoke was around that number. My yoke was around 800. So the difference is this. The rudder pedals have a servo motor in it that delivers 370 newtons. That is a very, very, very powerful motor. Yes. That is a very, very powerful motor. So you need that powerful motor, and you also need the controller to go with it. So so that is the reason why it's a lot of money. So, you know, but the cool thing is that where did that go? Huh. Interesting. I lost something. Where did that go? Huh. I gotta do something. Hello? For some reason, this disappeared on me. I don't know why. I was sitting here talking, and all of a sudden I looked up. Oh, no. Now it's back. Okay. So, the flightsim.com rudder pedals and yoke that has software that that goes with it. So, when I load into this plane, let me see if I can drag this down here so it's a little closer. So you can see this profile. So this profile is X-Plane 12 Cessna Skyhawk G1000 default. So basically, every time I load a plane, I load a different plane in, it has a specific profile. So like right now, this yoke, let me show this yoke. So this yoke is all the way forward. And the reason it's all the way forward is if we go back here, we look at the elevator here, you see it's drooped all the way down. So if I pull on the yoke, it comes up. But if I let go of it, the weight of that will pull the yoke forward. Just like in a real airplane, which is pretty slick. So the same way with the rudder pedals, whatever the aerodynamic forces are that is affecting the rudder will affect the rudder pedals in the plane. So okay, so let me think. Oh yeah, I'm retired now. When I was doing pilot training, I was working, and I was a plant electrician for Welch's. So I had opportunities. If I needed some extra money, I could just work some overtime. So when I was training, I mean, you figure training at that time was probably $200 an hour for the training, for the CFI, for the plane, for fuel. It's probably $200 an hour. It's about $250 now. And so that's quite a bit of money to be, well, think about that. So $200 an hour, and I've got 108 hours. That's a lot of money. And but at the time when I was working, I had that kind of, I could easily justify it because I could just work some overtime and basically cover the cost of my training. So that's what I did. But towards the end of my training, some stuff at work changed, and I thought I could generally, I was an electrician, so being under stress is kind of part of the job. But towards the very end of my training, some things happened at work that were bothering me more than I thought they were. And so I think my last flight, I did a landing, and there was an instructor with me. The landing was fine, but just my head was not in the game. And it was kind of like, okay, well, you can continue to do this and be in the air thinking about work. Or you can be on the ground thinking about flying, and you'll be a lot safer. So at that point in time, I just says I can't continue training. So that happened probably about 2 or 3 years before I retired. So now that I'm retired, I have the time and I don't have the stress, but certainly don't have the disposable income to go, oh, let's go pay $250 for an hour of flight in a real airplane. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. So basically what I decided to do instead is get into virtual reality, force feedback yoke and rudder pedals. And so that it is so close to what I remember flying for real. And I have a good friend that's a CFI. And I didn't train with him, but I've known him he started training the same time I did. And so we're good. We're good aviation friends, and so I can like bounce things off him when I say my yoke did this or does this. He goes, "Yeah, that's what a real plane does." Or I can actually go out to the airport and go, "Well, why don't you jump in a real airplane and just feel it and and kind of like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool." So so yes. They're from a company. It's in you can see it in the video in that stream. The company's flightsim.com, and so my yoke is about $800. My rudder pedals are about $1,800. So this is how I look at it. So how many hours in a real airplane is this? And when you get up, so we'll say 1,800. So that's about what, 8? Maybe 8 hours in a rail plane, and the yoke's probably about 4. So it's kind of like, okay, and the whole advantage is I can fly whenever I want. So. Alrighty, trying to think anything else related to VR. There's a bug that I wanted to show, but I want to go flying first. So I'm using a program called SayIntentions. So that's like an AI air traffic control. So I'm going to get my plane started up here. So I have a button on my yoke where I can push, and that basically kind of hides my yoke. One other thing I wanted to kind of go over, and because I'm in VR, you can see from watching the stream that I'm sitting in front of my desk, and people will tell me, well, you're going to hit the desk. And I'm like, no, no, I'm not. And I'll explain how I'm not. So I'll take my controller and I'll shove it up against my desk. Okay. You can barely see the edge of my controller. Other controller here. So I'm a little crooked right now. Not bad, but... So what I've done is I've taken this cockpit, this virtual cockpit, and I basically adjusted my position in the cockpit so that this is in front of my desk, so that at no time will I hit my desk. I may hit my yoke. That's a different story, but that allows me to basically fly right right from my desk, and so when I'm not flying, I take my yoke and I put it over to the left over here. There's a box you should be able to see in the camera. There's a box over there. That's where my yoke rests when I'm not flying. So I just take it off. It's clamped with two kind of like C-clamps, and that clamps it down. Only the front's clamped. This thing's heavy enough. It does not move. Once it's clamped down on the front, it is not going to move. No matter what I do here, this is not going to move. Yes. It took me some time. I used to use a Wheel Stand Pro, and I used that with a SayTech yoke and rudder pedals. That worked great for that. When I got the yoke before this one, I had a Fulcrum 1. When I put that on that Wheel Stand Pro, I went, oh, this is too heavy for it. It's not going to work. So at that point, when I got my Fulcrum 1 yoke, I figured out how to do this. So, and just continued with the force feedback. Okay, let's get this plane started. So I'm going to put the mixture in, turn the beacon on, give me some power. Yeah, I've heard good things. I am a little bit so an FFB stick. Yeah. Flightsim.com doesn't make a stick. They're going to, but they haven't made one yet. So yeah. Yep. Yeah, they make a yoke too, and Moza does, and I have a friend lives in Germany that he bought one, so we've been comparing notes, and this is what I'll say: the Moza yoke is cheaper, but the software is not even close. The from at least at this point in time, it's not close. So, but I'm really happy with what I have, and I'll probably not be changing anything soon. So, alrighty, let me get to ATIS here. What do I need for ATIS? 121.25. Do I have it here? Yeah, I do. Okay, so let me go down here. Look over here.
NG in progress. Expect delays near the commuter terminal. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Oscar. Fayetteville Regional Airport. Information. Oscar. 1453 Zulu. Arriving and departing runways 28, 22. Wind 270 at 5. Visibility 10. Sky condition
2. Okay, I got 22 dialed in. Oh, I forgot. She told me, but I didn't listen.
Regional Airport. Information. Oscar. 1453 Zulu. Arriving and departing runways 28, 22. Wind 270 at 5. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 10. Dew point 2. Altimeter 3024. Density altitude -600 feet. Taxiway resurfacing in progress. Expect delays near the commuter terminal.
Okay.
Advise on.
As you see, I'm doing all of that with my VR controller. One thing I wanted to kind of mention is, so when I come in against the button here, you can see the button turns green. Also, at the same time, my VR controller, I feel that. Same way as I come down to my trim, you can see it highlights, but I also feel it. So I can blindly come down here and know that I'm on the trim wheel. So like I said, I do all my interactions. So in other words, the throttle, the mixture, the trim, the flaps, any of these knobs, I do them generally all with a VR controller. So alrighty, we'll see what's don't seem like I'm on the right tower frequency. 118.30. No, that's 119. Okay, what's ground? 121.7. Okay, so I'm on ground. So we'll see if I can get permission to taxi to runway 22. Fayetteville ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, request taxi to runway 22.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, runway 22, taxi via Delta Alpha. Contact tower on 118.3 when ready for departure.
Taxi to runway 22 via Delta Alpha. Contact tower on 118.3 when ready for departure. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Okie doke. Guess we can go. Let me just check a couple of things. Yeah, everything looks good. Yep, I'm happy. So I have ground over here on the, so I have tower right here. So all I have to do is do a flip. And, okay. So. I'm using the default Cessna right now. I normally use the Reality Expansion Pack Cessna. And, but the one thing I wanted to do today is, there's a test that I wanted to do at the end of the stream that would the Reality Expansion Pack wouldn't be happy. Okay, let me look. Huh. Something seems a little wrong to me. Oops, that's right. So I just did a little turn to see which way. I have my runway in the heading bug is set for my runway. So when I went and I turned to the right there, I couldn't quite, from the diagram, I couldn't quite figure it out. So when I turned to the right there, I seen the heading bug wanted to go to the top, and it shouldn't be. It should be at the bottom, because I'm basically going the same direction as I would be for a downwind of this runway. So, and on a downwind, the heading bug's going to be at the bottom. So when you do your downwind, do your base, you turn on final, that heading bug's going to be at the top. So all in all, I have been extremely happy with the improved performance of the 12.4.0. It is really, really nice. So, I'm glad we got some more clouds, because when I kind of checked the airport this morning, it was kind of pretty. It was pretty clear. I was kind of hoping it would get at least a little bit of clouds. Oh, that's still here.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, contact tower on 118.3.
Contact tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
6 Bravo Golf, contact tower on 118.3 when ready for departure.
Contact tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Okay. I'll turn taxi up, land on next road. Tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, ready for departure, runway 22.
Cessna 256 Bravo Golf, Fayetteville Tower, runway 22, wind 270 at 5, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 22, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Okay. So, I normally don't, I don't need to do that. I normally don't, show my yoke in VR, and this is the reason. If I had my controller right here, that yoke would be highlighted. If I happen to have it highlighted and pull the trigger, it will affect it. And so having two things trying to control the yoke at the same time is not a good thing to do. So when we'll give ourselves some power here. So we got to give it a little right rudder here. Let's give it too much. Something ain't right. Something ain't right at all. Oh, maybe it is. Oh, what it is the my software isn't reflecting what my yoke is doing. Let me look at my yoke. Yeah, okay. Yeah. My software says the yoke is all the way in, and it's not, so that's okay. Not a big deal. Alrighty, so I'm just going to spend a little bit of time. What I want to do is I'm going to try to maintain runway heading here for a bit. And then I'm going to kind of get up to about 3,000 feet and then trim for level flight, So I have this window here. So basically what this is the two outside are that's my rudder pedal. So I push in my right rudder, my left rudder, that's that. Those two there are my toe brakes. And then the middle is my yoke. So the yoke's about in the middle. And then this is the roll of my yoke. So, and the other ones are the yoke position, where the elevator position is, and then where the trim is. So we're basically trim for takeoff. So when we come out of there at full power, we're at about 78, 80 knots climbing out of here. So okay. So we're far enough away from the airport. I'm gonna turn a little bit. So I'm just letting it climb up at full power here. And I'm just gonna fly over the city a little bit here. So basically, I'm completely hand flying this right now. So we're still trimmed. We're still trimmed for takeoff power. So. We're climbing, between 500 and 900 feet per minute. So. Okay. Getting close. When I get about 100 feet away from 3,000, I'm going to start pushing the yoke in. There we go. We're getting close. I'm going to push the yoke in a little bit. I'm trying to hold it at 3,000. And I have to keep putting more pressure on the yoke. So now I'm gonna give it some nose down trim. So you need a little more. So, and I can feel it with my yoke. So as I give it more nose down trim, trying to keep a pitch attitude, and now I'm going to pull back to like 2,300. So I'm trying to keep a pitch attitude that'll basically keep me level at 3,000 feet. I've went above 3,000 feet, so I got to push the nose down a little bit. Then I'm giving up more trim. The advantage to force feedback is this. You can feel that pressure. So right now she's pretty trimmed. That's 3,000. It's not moving too far. A little bit. It's climbing just a little bit. But notice where I went from 80 to 100 knots. And actually I am less, I have less power. So I'm at 2,300, and I was about 24, or when it started to level off, it probably went up to 2450. So that's the advantage of force feedback. Is it expensive? Yes. But that's the advantage. It is exactly that. Alrighty. So I'm just gonna fly around a little bit here. Fly around for a bit, and then I'm gonna see if SayIntentions will cooperate with me, and see if I can get permission to land back at the airport. So, but I just wanted to kind of show, first of all, just show how VR is performing for me. I mean, it's like, this is just incredible. This is so cool that with a really, really high-end headset. Well, I mean, rephrase that. My headset isn't as high-end as the Big Screen Beyond is like 2560. So, like say a Megan X or like say a Pimax Super. I mean, those are around 3,500. This is 2,500. So if you have like a lesser GPU, a Big Screen Beyond is great. If you have a 5090 like I do have, then you could run the higher end headset. So see, I'm just a little bit low. I'm about 200 feet. So I'm like 28, not 200 feet, about 150 feet. Well, so. Okay. So I'm looking for, so what am I running for scenery? So I'm running, SimHaven. I'm running SimHaven, and I'm not running any ortho for XP. I have it, but I have it disabled because there was a performance issue with it, in let's see, 12.3. I think of all of 12.3, there was a performance issue. So I had that part of it disabled. So, but it sounds like 12.4 has has it fixed, so I will be putting it back. But for this flight, I'm only using SimHaven. All right. So where's my airport at? I'm trying to find the denser parts of oh, there we go. Trying to find the denser parts of Fayetteville just to increase my my load. There we go. Okay. I was a little lost. Okay. Oh, is that the runway? Oh yeah, looks like it is. Okay. All right. Now I'm no longer lost. Yeah, that's Fayetteville. Okay. All right. Good enough. I didn't want to land right now, but I wanted to kind of find the denser parts of Fayetteville and kind of go from there. So, and I'm in the right place for a downwind for 2-2 because the heading bug is there. So the runway's over there, and I just want to roll it back. So I don't know how far I am. I can probably check, but you can see that airport from quite a ways away. So I'm at 3,000 feet. The airport's about 140 feet, 150 feet above sea level. So, but you can see it from quite a ways away. So. Yeah, so I'm at like a little above 2300 RPM, and I'm doing about 102 knots. So and to do that, and so when you want to go faster, you put the nose down, so you're more level flight. Now, when you're coming in for a landing, you're doing kind of the opposite. So you're trying to put you want to be slower when you're coming in to land. So you basically want your nose up. So at that point, you're trying to get so you would retrim. A couple of things are going on. You'd have way less power in here, so you'd have 1,700 RPM, something like that, and then you would give it more nose up trim. So basically, the nose is going to be higher, so that basically lowers your airspeed, your indicated airspeed. Do like how the clouds look. Those look pretty nice. The atmosphere itself is pretty nice. When I was on the ground at the airport, something I was seeing kind of a shimmer. You know, almost couldn't tell if it was the trees were shimmering or something just in the distance. But now, when I'm flying around at about 3,000 feet, I don't see that. I see just a little bit. So if I look over here where those buildings are, I can see just a little bit of a shimmer, just a little bit. But if I look a little closer, so that's out that far, if I look right here, none. And here, none. In the cockpit, none. So it's like, this is looking quite nice. So this whole time I've been like hand flying, and quite frankly, I've been within probably 100 feet of 3,000. So that's what trimming an airplane does for you. It basically says you can fly hands-free, and the airplane's just going to fly. So the only thing I have been doing is just kind of doing some orbits, you know, just around different areas. But all in all, I am I am a happy VR user. So, well, I also have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. It does not seem to. There's a couple of things about it that the way I like to fly in VR, it doesn't work well. Like if I wanted to, okay, so my RPM is 2300. So if I want to go up by about 50, I can easily do that. Easily. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. What I found, slow that down. What I found with Microsoft Flight Simulator using a VR controller, that precision is not available. I don't know why, but it's not. So kind of what happens is, and I haven't checked software update 4 yet. That will be the next thing I check. So what was happening in the past, for sure, is you would move that and it would do nothing. You'd move it some more and it would do nothing. Move it some more and then it would jump at least 10%, if not 15%. So a throttle, you can probably get away with that. Do that with a mixture. you can be in pretty bad trouble. So, so that's kind of something that was going on, and it's why I tend not to fly with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for precisely that reason. If I could get it to, that part of it to work, because I'm not going to change how I fly in VR. That's just not going to happen. That's what I enjoy. So until that happens, I won't be spending much time in it for that reason. And but it's kind of how things started. Like when X-Plane first had native VR, they basically told you they didn't want you to use any hardware stuff. They wanted you to use VR controllers and for everything. And that's kind of how they wanted you to experience VR to begin with. And so I kind of learned how to fly in VR that way. And then I added a yoke and rudder pedals and that kind of stuff. But originally, no, you flew completely with a VR controller. Now, Microsoft Flight Simulator, on the other hand, they brought VR controller or VR support with no VR controller support. It's kind of like, oh, really? No, they wanted you to use a mouse. I'm like, that's foreign to me. So, okie dokie. I think I'm going to see if I can contact tower here and see if I can get permission to land. So so we'll say if the runway is about 150 feet, then I need to be right around 1,000 feet, 1,000, maybe 1,100 feet. And I'm at 3,000, so I'll have to get rid of some altitude, but first I got to get permission. When I did this yesterday, he didn't seem to want to give me permission to land, or he couldn't understand me, I think. So that's why I wanted to use the SayIntentions ATC to get away from there, and he seemed to understand me. So, alrighty, let me see if I can see this airport again. Yep, it's over there. Okay. So we'll at least get it. What is going on here? Something's going a little weird here. Huh. For some reason, this got really. Huh. What is going on? This thing wants to die. Not sure why yet. Oh. I'm trying to get it, and I'm not going to attempt to land until I figure this out. right now, I don't know why. Right now, this thing really, really, really wants to pull. So what was going on, and I don't know why, is this thing wanted, it was trying to dive, and I don't know why it was doing that. So I think we got our balance now. So tower Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Request landing, runway 22, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, winds 270 at 5, runway 22, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, runway 22, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Something, oh. Okay. For some reason, the trim went big time nose down again, and I'm not so sure why. Yes, I'm having a blast. Kind of fighting my force feedback yoke a little bit, but that's okay. We got it figured out, I think. Oh. I have a on my yoke. I have trim. There's some buttons on my yoke that do trim. And every once in a while when I'm flying, my thumb evidently is touching that trim wheel, that trim button, or lever actually. And so it causes it to change the trim. Because I looked down and I didn't have it as nose down as what I looked. I went, wow, that's way nose down. And so if you do way nose down, then it's gonna, the amount of force on the yoke's gonna be pretty tremendous. So but we got it figured out now. So alrighty. So he gave me permission to land. This is going way better than I did yesterday. So put some power back in. Probably about 2,000 will be okay. I just want to kind of arrest my descent here. 2,000 should be enough. I'm at 1,300 feet, so I'm pretty close to a pattern, and the runway's like right there. So all good, all good. I'm like a little quick here. Need to get rid of some speed, but we can do that pretty quickly here. Because I'm right about 90 knots, and I probably need to be about 80 on that downwind here. So I'm going to pull back on the yoke a little bit. So as I pull back on the yoke, the airspeed's going to decrease. So I give it a little more nose up trim. So I'm taking the plane and pitching the nose up. We're at 80 knots. So we're all looking good. Power's about where I want it. I got to get rid of some altitude, so we're all good. A little snug to the airport, to the runway here, so I'm going to go out a little bit. So what my goal is I want that runway to be in the middle of that strut. That's pretty close. Alrighty. Looking pretty good. Pretty happy with what I'm seeing. A little bit high, that's okay. We can work through it. Tower Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, downwind runway 22.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, report base, wind 270 at 5.
Report base Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Okay. So, right about now, I'm going to pull the power back a little bit more. I'm trying to hold the yoke up a little bit. I'm going to put the first notch of flaps in. I'm trying to get it to descend a little bit here. That should be better. Okay, looking pretty good. We're looking to be at a 45-degree angle from that end of that runway. I would say that's pretty close. Tower Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, turning base, runway 22. Looks like a notch of flaps. Seems a little bit low, but we'll see. Turning final, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. I like how good the power lines look. These look like so realistic. Okay. Not sure why he didn't respond to me, but that's okay. We got a little bit of a displaced threshold here. We'll be out past that. Kind of shooting for the boxcars. We'll see how close we get. Not bad.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, welcome to Fayetteville. Contact ground on 121.7.
Contact ground, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Trying to find there it is. I don't want to contact ground until I get past the whole short line here. Okay. to 1.7. Something changed. We're on Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Request taxi to general aviation parking.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, taxi to stand GA2 via Delta. Have a great day.
Taxi to stand J2, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Oh, it's right over here. Oops, got the cleanup plane. Got part of it cleaned up, not all of it. Okay. Whoops. There's seagulls over there. What does that say? GA parking? Yes, it does. Okay. Alrighty. Over here. There we go. All right. Okay, put it on. Alrighty. Okay, so all in all, that went pretty good. There was something a little weird going on with the trim, but I think it was related to this. Yeah, that's what I think it was. Okay. Seems to be working now. That's kind of interesting. Let me pull the power back a little bit. Yeah, that's working. Okay. Wasn't working earlier, so that's fine. But, okay, so let me do this off. Okay. Okay, so all of that went okay. I got one more thing I wanted to do before I got done. What time is it? Okay, so I've been flying for about an hour and flying most of it, and yeah. So, one last little task is, and I just want to document. Yeah. So when I was flying, I didn't see this. So when I look out, like say at kind of the runway, I see a shimmer going on there. Now what I don't know is where it's coming from. Let me like just jump out here. Yeah. That's hard to say where it's coming from. So almost like it's coming from, let me go back over here. Yeah. So it's like the edge of that taxiway is kind of has a shimmer to it. Yeah. So it's probably the edge of the runway, that's kind of where it is. Because I know they were talking, even if I even look here, like you can see like when I'm looking, I wonder what that is. I have to figure that out. Because right now I'm not so sure that's going to come across on the stream. But when I'm looking at the ground here, there's a shimmer to it. I don't know what that is, but there's a shimmer to it. So on this pavement, let me go over here. It's also here. It's different though. But alrighty. So, now I'm gonna really excite myself. So, everything looking good? Okay. So, what I'm going to do. Okay. So this is going to get entertaining. So I'm going to say, I want to start at the runway, but I want to start 10 miles out. Okay. So this is called a 10 nautical mile approach. So basically it's going to set me up on a 10-mile approach. Now what should happen is the plane should be running, and it should be kind of trimmed. It should be kind of on an approach, getting ready to land in 10 miles on runway 22. In 12.4.0, this is broke, and we'll see how well I can. And doing this with a force feedback yoke is even more entertaining. All right, start new flight. So we'll see how this goes. All right. So I, as quick as I could, paused it. All right. Well, I can explain what's going on here. Okay. So what's going on? Everything's off. So the throttle seems about right. Next year's cut off. So no wonder the plane ain't running. And so it's kind of like so you kind of wonder, like, why is this lit up? Okay, it's lit up because this is on the standby battery is on arm, and it's like, okay, and so this is not what it's supposed to do. I'm not even sure how far did I move, because I should be on approach, but oh, that's not even working right yet. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I'm I was glad I got it. I got to the pause. The pause is kind of weird in here. It's this guy over here. So and so we'll shove this in. We'll turn this on, this on, this on, that off. This to both. And we'll see how well this recovers. It should recover not too badly, but we will find out. Unpause. Okay. The plane's absolutely running. Okay. Alrighty. So how far am I from the airport? I should be 10 miles away. Should be lined up for 22, but not saying that I see the airport. Looks right, though. Everything looks right. So I'm 10 miles out. So, well, let me go up to 2,000. And we'll see if I can find this airport. Yeah, so it's trimmed. It's level plate right now at 2,000. Okay. It should legitimately be in front of me. There it is. Okay. All right. Let's see, am I on tower? Nope. Fayetteville Tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, inbound to land, runway 22.
Cessna 256 Bravo Golf, Fayetteville Tower, runway 22 is active. Enter right base for runway 28.
Tower, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Can I do a straight in approach for runway 22?
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, straight in approved for runway 22.
Straight in, runway 22, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Okay. So whenever you do a straight in approach, it's always I find it much more difficult because you can't, when you're on a downwind, you're going to be, at 1,000 feet above the runway. Now we're coming in and I'm at 2,000 feet. So I am high. So I'm going to pull some power back here and kind of get this thing into a glide, that I'm 10 miles, I was 10 miles out. I'm probably at least 7 still, maybe 5. But I should at the very least be 2,000 feet, so.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, winds 270 at 5. Runway 22, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, runway 22, Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Okay. So the pappies are still white, so I'm still too high. So I'm getting better, but we'll see how it goes. I want to make sure I'm close enough where I start sticking out some flaps here. But I'm in flap range, so I can easily do that. Okay, 10 degrees of flaps. It turned out too bad. Just gonna feather some power back out of here. Thank you for the follow. Pouring late flare, are you kidding me? Alrighty, coming up here. I'm gonna have to dial in the ground. Did you not realize I landed? Oh, I didn't have any lights on. Alright, I got taxi on. Tower Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, clear of active runway 22.
Cessna 6 Bravo Golf, taxi to stand GA2 via Delta. Good day.
Taxi to stand GA2 via Delta. Cessna 6 Bravo Golf. Okay, I don't have to talk to ground. Okay, got that. All right. Go right to this one. All right. So, turn off the avionics. Oops. Kill that, kill that. Kill that. That off, that off. Alrighty, we're all done. So I got to do everything I wanted to do today. And yeah, I think that that'll do it. And yeah, about an hour and a half of flying. Yeah, started at 12:23. That sounds good. I did, I wanted to, this will, I'll end up putting this VOD on YouTube. And so thank you all for stopping by. And my crazy flying in VR. And not everybody can watch these streams. I got it. And that's fine. But my goal of all of my VR streams is to kind of show people how I fly in VR and what I personally find important to me, and kind of what I'm trying to accomplish is to replicate the best that I can what it felt like to fly in a real airplane when I was doing my pilot training. And so far, with the VR headsets that I recently have had, and force feedback yoke and rudder pedals, man, I'm close. I am really close, and I am really happy how well all this is. And quite frankly, the Laminar research team on 12.4.0, Beta 1, man, they hit it out of the park. They really, really did. There's still some bugs. no doubt about it. I just showed one, and but this is so much more fun. I've always enjoyed VR in X-Plane 12, but this is even better. So, alrighty. If you enjoy this content, please click on the whoops. Please click on the follow button, and interesting. And like I said, I'll end up putting this VOD. This looked like it's pretty good. I'll take a look at the VOD, make sure it's okay. But I'll go ahead and this will end up on YouTube. So sounds good. Thanks all. Have a great day. Bye bye.